So lately I've had very little time to really do a lot of videos, but there's little things that I could make videos about just that might be informative for people, so I thought I would. I know they aren't beautiful, fancy productions, but so somebody made a comment on my video about the frame bolts and how they discovered theirs were all loose as well, and you know, which reminds me, it's been 5,000 miles since I put Loctite on all these frame bolts on my camper. So I should inspect them. So we're going to inspect them, but I also want to show you the tread wear on these tires. Now I don't know if this is a trait of these type of axles, if they're supposed to toe out a little bit, if something happened to the camper along the way. This may be completely normal. So I got about 12,000 miles on my tires last time, and they say 10,000 is about where you'll be. Now I don't know if they say 10,000 is because of, you know, generally they sit out, they dry rot over a few years because you're supposed to change them every 3 years, or 10,000 miles. They don't really give you mile ratings on camper tires, so this is kind of a little different for me. But I'm going to show you the tread wear on this anyway, so that you at least have something to maybe compare to yours. Now there could be something wrong with my camper, again, or this could be completely normal. If these tires last 10,000 miles, I think I'm okay with that, even though they do wear a little odd, and I'm not going to worry about it. It doesn't seem to like dog walk or anything like that. The trailer pulls nice and straight, so I'm going to just say it is what it is and just accept it. But basically these tires do come out a little bit on the bottom, and so they wear on the inside. So I'll show you what I mean. So you can see this is right here is completely gone over here now, and then you can see this is starting to disappear. Now I want to rotate these. We're just a little over the 5,000 mile mark, so I do want to rotate these tires because it is wearing a little more on the other. But you know, the other thing is maybe Discount, I don't know if Discount would rotate these tires by taking them off the wheel and remounting them. It would cost like $25 a wheel, but if they'll do it, which they may not, they may say this is too worn and they won't touch it. But if they were to do it, then you could potentially get 15,000 miles out of these things, I would think. But anyway, you can see where this is right about here. It's starting to go. Now let's go look at the other side. So over here, you can see that this is completely, it's not completely, but it's almost completely gone. So this side is worn a little more. Now, I didn't rotate these tires at all on the first set that I got about 12,000 before this side blew out. And you can obviously see why this side would blow out first, because it does wear a little faster. So if I rotated these right now, I should be able to get my 10,000 miles out of these, because the other side is worn a little less. And like I say, I got at least 12,000. I didn't really pay attention. It was at minimum 12,000 miles out of it last time. Of course, it was a different brand of tire. So, but like I said, if you could take and actually rotate the tire on the wheel, actually take the tire off, remount it the other direction, which I would assume they could just do that. You know, maybe this is the only way they'll install it, in which case rotating this, I should safely get, you know, my 10,000 miles out of it, because there's still some meat on this tire, just there's no tread right there. It is gone. This is basically worn down. I would say that's 1/4 inch. By this being gone, that means it's down 1/4 inch. So in any case, it does wear on both sides. I don't know if this is normal, if this is what these kind of axles do, or you know what, but it is what it is. And I've noticed these tires toe out, if that's the right term. I've noticed that for a long time now, so that's not anything new. So but at best 10,000 miles is about all you're going to get out of these things with that kind of wear. Again, I don't know what that means. This is my first camper. 10,000 miles is about what they say the tire expectancy should be. I don't know if that's just because they're going to wear unevenly and this is normal, or if this is completely not normal at all. Maybe some people can put something in the comments as to, do they see the same thing on their campers, or is it run completely straight and wear the right way? The tire pressure on these is correct. So I guess I could maybe put, you don't really want to put more air in it. It's at the 65 pounds when it's cold. So that's what I make sure is, before I go on a trip, I make sure they're at the 65 pounds before we head out. So, you know, and they're holding air just fine. So again, if the tire was underflated, see, I don't know. Any advice anybody has on this, let me know. Or if this is normal, that would be great to know too. Now, so let's look at the frame bolts. Now, this is something you'll see in the other videos where I discovered this trailer is held on, I think I said 8 bolts, but it's actually, I think it's 12 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's actually 12 bolts that hold this box to the frame. And the nuts were actually falling off. They didn't put any kind of Loctite. They didn't do anything, and so they were just falling off. And so you definitely want to inspect these. But that's what I'm doing now. Is I went ahead and cleaned all this up before. I put Loctite on the nuts, and I had to replace some nuts because they were gone. They'd fallen off. So we're driving down the road with literally bolts, missing nuts that hold this box to the frame. It's kind of scary. So it's something you really want to inspect fairly regularly, I would say. Probably every 5,000 miles. Just maybe do it at the same time you're rotating your tires. All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, see these, that's nice now. This was actually, I could untighten these with my hand before. They were all loose. I could literally turn them off with my bare hands. But now I've redone them with Loctite. And they look, no, that's good. See, it's a little crooked though, and that's because the bolt doesn't line up. They don't, and when you go to the front, you'll see it really doesn't line up. Yeah, like I say, this was crooked by the time I discovered the issue, but this was also actually missing the nut. This is a brand new nut. You can tell this is one of the new nuts I put on it. And then I Loctited it. So let's go to this side. And so this would probably be a good day to do just general maintenance. I can do some treatment on the rubber seals and caulking and spec caulking and all that. So let's make that what this video is about. Just, you know, inspection time. Yep, this is a new nut too, as you can see. Nice and shiny, but it is solid. The Loctite is holding it. And this is one of the older nuts, but solid. All good. Like I say, this is better. Yeah, this is good. These aren't going anywhere. Good. Good. All right. Okay, so that checks out. Those are holding up good, no worries. I greased the bearings 5,000 miles ago. You should do that about every 10,000 miles. So they're good. Another thing I discovered when we were on our trip, that the weight distribution hitch stuff was working loose. So one thing you want to check when you don't have any weight on this is make sure these are all good. And of course I'm just checking with my hands. When I first discovered these had worked loose was probably about 5,000 miles in, and I didn't even notice it, except when I loosened up the trailer, I noticed this thing shake, and these had literally worked loose, and so they needed tightened again. You could think of it like lug nuts. You know, they put all this stuff on, and you know, lug nuts you're supposed to drive, I think, you know, you get them all nice and tight, but then you're supposed to drive like 75, 100 miles, and you should, you know, check them again and make sure they're still snug because they can work loose. So these had actually worked loose, but ever since I retightened them after the first time they worked loose, they've been good. But, you know, if they're loose, you can tell. You'll be able to undo it with just your hands. But, oh, look at that. Look at that. That's loose. So I need to tighten that up. See, so it's good to inspect this stuff. So I'm gonna get that and tighten it up. Everything else is good. Just checking. Like I say, you'll know if it's coming loose. It'll literally come loose in your hands. All right, so let's see. I think, yeah, we don't have to worry about greasing the bearings. We've got 5,000 miles to go before those need to be done again. I am going to be taking this in on the 20th to have the spare tire mount replaced because the other one literally fell off. And so they've got the part. It took them all winter to get the part because of COVID. But he has the part. They got it actually before we went to Colorado. And so this goes in the week of the 20th, whatever day that is, to get that reattached. And that's when I'll have him just rotate the tires because, I mean, that's something you could obviously do, but I don't feel like it. I mean, it's already going to be probably up on a jack anyway. So probably some other things you should check is these screws on the ladder. See, is that working out? It is. Let's take care of the rubber seals on everything. Alright, so I picked this stuff up. You can get it on Amazon. I also have a link to it from my page, thejohnnyoshow.com/promotions. This is the lube for the rail, and then this is for the rubber seal conditioner. And both of these I got on Amazon. So, for this, let's go ahead and take care of the rail first. And it's pretty straightforward. Might as well use a liberal amount. Probably don't need that much, but it's cheap. Now, I go ahead and go inside and let's bring the slide in. Let's make sure all the wires are unplugged. And let's bring that slide in. And go back out. And the first guy that I saw use this stuff wiped it off. This is the rubber seal conditioner, but it doesn't say to do that. It just says spray on light, even coat, use regularly. So it doesn't say to wipe it off, so I'm not going to worry about wiping it off. We'll just get it, shake it up, and get this applied. Shaken, not stirred. Alright. Uh-oh, it's not spraying. There. Yeah, actually, I think I am going to wipe the excess off. No point in leaving that on the plastic. I'm falling. Now to get up to that part I can't reach. That's going to be fun. And this is that rubber too. So all this should be sprayed. And that's just plastic. But I got to get up there. Oh, and I should get this. Don't want to forget this. And you know what? There's also rubber seal in here too. All this. Probably wouldn't hurt to spray it. Although it's not exposed to the UV. That you definitely want to wipe the excess off. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not, but you can decide on your own. Okay, let's go up above. So I'm hoping that now that I've moved the slide in a little bit, I'll be able to reach what I need to from above. We'll see how that works out. So yeah, this is new. It's definitely, it looks like it's puckering up a little bit here. Doesn't look like it's broken any seal yet. So water should still not be getting through, but it still looks a little something probably to watch out for. This is why when you're not using your slides, you should probably keep it in and not let your trailer sit with your slide out all summer, which I generally try not to do, but sometimes I forget because we do use our trailer as a guest house. Solar panel's gonna get in the way. It's gonna get in my way. Alright, I'm gonna finish this up. It's hard to film and climb all over this stuff and everything at the same time. So I'm gonna just finish this up here. You get the gist. I'll be right back. Alright, the next thing I'm gonna do before I head back down is I'm gonna just inspect all this caulking to make sure it's not dried up and still pliable and that it looks like it's sealed good. If any of it looks like it's starting to dry up and crack, then I'll have to come back up and apply a new caulk. But I figure while I'm up here, let's just inspect it and see. Oh, that's actually still pretty pliable, so that's good. This all looks pretty good. That's kind of getting hard there, but there's no evident issues. That still looks good. What is that? No, that's not a hole. It's good. Okay, this is looking good still. And actually, all this is rubber underneath the screws. And so you probably want to spray it all too. So I've been getting that as well. Okay, so there you go. I decided not to wipe down the areas of the rubber. I mean, I just sprayed it on and I'm not going to worry about it. I just let it soak in. So I tried not to get any on the actual body of the camper, and I think it's fine. So that is what I've done so far, and I'll do, it doesn't look like anything needs caulked at the moment. I probably should clean the roof at some point, but not today. So probably what I'll do, maybe sometime this summer, I will probably give the roof a good scrubbing. We'll see. But I'll do this again as far as going around and treating everything, probably fall. I'll go through and before winter time and just treat all the rubber again, and just like what you saw here. So this is my basic inspection. It's probably not the best, but you want to do at least this much, because if you don't check the caulk and it was to crack or dry up, water will start coming through, and then you got your camper getting a leak, and you don't want that. So you got to at least do, at the bare minimum, at least do what I'm doing. I'm sure I'm taking way too many shortcuts, but at least do some inspection. You can't expect just to let your camper sit out and dry rot for years at a time and expect nothing bad to happen to it. You need to do normal preventative maintenance and inspections. Otherwise, it'll just turn into a heap of garbage, and that's any camper. You just have to take care of them. I mean, let's face it, if you bought a car, and brand new car, doesn't matter if it's a Honda Pilot or whatever, and just set it there and came back 2 years later, it's going to have issues, probably a lot. It's amazing how much just using it prevents it from falling apart. You would think that doesn't make sense, but it does. Just the normal little things we take for granted, you know, cleaning off the dash, cleaning off the dust, all those little things make a big impact on even a vehicle. And so this is some maintenance that tends to get neglected on campers. And it really needs to be, they need to be tended to. And like I say, I do it pretty quickly. I've probably spent an hour so far on this. And maybe I don't do it the best way, but at a bare minimum, you need to at least do this. So that's my advice with this video. If you want your camper to last at all, you need to at least do this much. Because it'll help you see little issues, like what is this? Why is that all? Is a piece of trim falling off? What the? It was like there was trim there and now it's gone? I don't understand what that is. There's nail holes. So that piece of trim is completely missing? That's weird. Okay, well, odd. Maybe I never had it. Anyhow, that's all I have for this video. I hope you found it useful. Alright, I need to bring my slide in the rest of the way just because there's no need in leaving it out right now. No one's going to be staying in the camper. So I'll bring that in. Okay, that's it for this video. See you guys in the next one.